You and me, the two cowboys, busting into the saloon for another episode here of the Fast Five.
Podna.
I like doing it this way better, by the way. It's been a while since we've talked about the structure, but doing it every couple weeks, it's on a set schedule. I still like doing the Fast Five. I think this is a superior way that we've decided to do it. Download numbers be damned. And with that being said, Steve, let's get right into it.
Fast Five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
First this week, the NBA bubble. You read any of that plan?
Yeah, it seems like a disaster waiting to happen.
You're looking at potentially the NBA Finals teams being inside this bubble with no contact, no like living or real contact with their families for almost 90 days. Mm-hmm. Next up, NASCAR. Probably the news story, whatever, outside of the major news story. The sports story of the week.
Yeah.
NASCAR.
A jump to conclusions?
Yeah, a couple sides of the coin there. We'll talk about that
on
the turnaround.
Yeah.
Next up, 1990s MTV. Did you see any of that this last week?
No. What are we talking about?
So on Friday, they turned MTV into a 90s MTV day where they were airing
like TRL
most requested moments. They aired like 2 hours of the Real World Season 1.
Okay, so
they
it was
aired
all
the 1999 VMA Awards that night.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, kind of a nice blast.
Oh
from the
yeah,
past.
I wish I would have known that.
Yeah, and I'd only seen it on Thursday. One of my friends said, "Well, my DVR is going to be set all day." The glory days, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they had all those stupid dating shows where it was like, you gotta meet my dad. And
right.
It's really stupid. Next up, Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's right. It was number one at the box office, wasn't it?
27 years after its release,
made
number one.
Made like $500,000 at the box office.
Drive-in movie theaters, the only income right now.
Very cool.
Jurassic Park.
Well deserved.
I still love that movie, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie. And last this week, Stimulus 2.0, supposedly coming in July. Do you expect it?
I don't. Hey, if somebody wants to send me more money, cool, I'll take it. But I do not expect that it will happen.
I mean, I couldn't see why people unemployed would need it. I mean, they got $1,200.
Yeah. I mean, if you had a kid, you might have gotten, like you and your spouse and your kid, you might have gotten $3,000.
What else you're not fine?
Oh. Isn't it true, like in Canada, aren't they getting like $2,000 a month?
I think there is some universal base income type of stuff there. So supposedly the Senate says they're going to work on something in July. I will believe it when I see it. It's never been more divided, more acrimonious than it is right now.
I did see that, like, what they say, like over $1 billion went to
dead people.
Dead people.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So, again, Stimulus 2.0 coming in July. Before that, Jurassic Park. Now, number one at the box office, Steve. Have you gone back and watched Jurassic Park?
I know I've seen parts of it. I remember, like, somewhat recently, in the last year or two, it was on TV, or it was on like maybe I watched it on a streaming service or something. I was like, what the hell? It might have been on an airplane, actually, now that I think about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like I was on a flight somewhere and I watched part of it.
There is something to be said about those animatronic dinosaurs that just... I still love it.
I don't even think that they look that bad.
I didn't think they looked bad at all. Like,
yeah.
But I'm also a guy who still looks at Jaws and thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. That not nearly as good.
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah, but I think Jurassic Park, it does all right.
You ever do the Jurassic Park ride down at Universal Studios in
No,
Florida?
never been to Universal Studios.
Oh, man. Nice log flume.
Yeah?
Real nice ride.
Okay.
Real nice ride.
Ooh, that's a little teaser for something that we'll be getting to on my Fast Five.
The log flume? I can't wait.
An amusement park.
Oh, wow.
Little tidbit.
Wow, how about that? Tease. Before that, 90s MTV. That was our era.
That
Carson
sounds awesome.
Daly,
Oh my god!
TRL.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, it was I loved The Real World.
Sure.
And the first one that I really remember well was Real World Season 3, which was San Francisco.
San Francisco with Pedro
and Puck
Pedro,
and Judd and Pam
Pedro,
and Muhammad.
The first out
openly gay
man, right? I remember following that, but I also remember watching Boston, which there was a guy from Boston who's now a congressman in Minnesota, I think. And I remember New Orleans. with wrestler now Mike the Miz.
Yep.
Is now a wrestler. But he's really the only one I remember from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then I remember Hawaii. With Ruthie the alcoholic. Got hauled away in an ambulance after alcohol poisoning.
See, I also liked Road Rules. Like the original Road Rules.
Right.
Because it morphed into like the challenge or whatever where it was
a joke.
Yeah. I just liked Road Rules where it was just 5 people in an RV going across the country. It was basically a big scavenger hunt. It was like they'd go one place, they'd complete some task, they would get a clue, and then they'd have to drive 3/4 of the way back across the country to go to wherever.
Just the best.
Yeah.
Before that, NASCAR. Big news this week. So, a couple sides of the coin to look at. I don't know where I fall on it. Well, I know one side of the coin I don't fall on, and that's blaming the driver who wasn't involved at all in discovering this or reporting it or anything. But, of course, it's a massive issue now that
it's political.
A pull rope that was fashioned into... Listen, the FBI put in their report, so I can say it. It was fashioned into a noose.
Well, I mean, if you look at the NASCAR released the picture of it, it's a noose. It wasn't used for the purpose of hanging somebody.
Yes.
But, I mean, like a noose is a noose.
Looking at that, a young crew member, whoever, looks at it, hasn't seen it before. The way it sounds is that's the only rope that was really fashioned like that. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him for calling NASCAR.
No.
But people seem to be blaming one Bubba Wallace, which is unfair.
Right.
They're blaming NASCAR for releasing a statement on it, which, if you're NASCAR, what looks worse? Overacting or overreacting or underreacting and trying to sweep it under the rug?
They're damned if they do, damned if they do, damned if they don't.
No winning.
No
winning. But quite a moment there, the day of the race.
Oh, that was incredible.
Yeah. The
regardless of whether it was a noose, not a noose, it was planted, it wasn't planted. Incredible moment.
Because even disregarding the rope noose situation, everything going on, the Confederate flag situation, the Black Lives Matter movement, him having the Black Lives Matter car, there was still a lot of heat on Bubba Wallace, so to see NASCAR kind of walk with him, that was a really neat image.
Yeah, definitely.
Before that, the NBA bubble, ESPN's Wide World of Sports at Walt Disney World in Orlando, which is a hotbed of rising coronavirus cases, going to be a part of the bubble for the NBA players when it resumes at the end of July. So they're going to start reporting in waves, Steve, which I think is probably a wise decision. So like 4 players will be back 1 week. 4 days later, 3 more players come back as they all get back and assimilated into the team environment.
Right.
Multiple tests. Can't leave. It's not like they're going to the park.
They're going to test them every day.
I don't know if it's every day, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Kind of not similar, but the UFC is doing their Fight Island, which we talked about in the Fast Five, and somebody got a hold of a one-sheeter on how they're doing their testing. You have 5 tests from the time before you leave to the island until you leave the island. 5 coronavirus tests during the presumed, 4 or 5 days you're on this island.
Yeah, so once a day.
Before you leave the airport, when you land, before you leave the airport to your hotel, when you get to the hotel, before your fight, after the fight, and before you leave on your flight to go home.
Jeez.
So there's, I appreciate taking the precautions for it. Listen, it's going to happen. Adam Silver did an interview. He said sports need to be back for whatever litany of reasons. We all know it's money.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason.
It's going to happen. There's going to be positives. We're just going to have to now live with how shocked are we at the number of positives.
It's a matter... Yeah, I mean, it's obvious there will be positives. Just the sheer number of people. There are going to be positives.
16 already NBA positives out of 300.
So it's a matter of how you deal with it.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess if they can figure out a way to deal with it and make their money and have their games on TV and everything, then okay. But it's going to look real bad when somebody gets really sick.
Yeah.
And, God forbid somebody dies or they pass it to somebody else. And, it's not going to be great.
Yep. And that's it for me.
Fast Five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, first on my list for the Fast Five this week, similar to yours, MLB and NBA. Both their plans to restart seasons.
Good on the NBA. The MLB can go suck an egg.
Really?
Yeah. Done with them. Well, not done with them, but I talked about it last week. I got a sports tape that I got to drop for MLB.
Next, Splash Mountain. I had no idea about.
I didn't either. But man, oh man, when are we? I mean, where are we going to reach the overreaction or the overcorrection? That's my question.
So I didn't know that Splash Mountain was based on.
Never been there, by the way. So I guess I don't.
Yeah, neither have I. It's based on the movie from like the 40s or something.
Yeah, and the song that's played or something,
Song of
right?
the South?
Song of the South. So they're going to reimagine the entire area, not using that music anymore. Yeah. I mean, nothing surprising anymore. Some of this stuff for me, personally, and again, I'm not in anybody's shoes to where I have a point that I can really share.
Yeah.
Right? Some of it's a bit eye-rolly for me.
Yeah.
To this point.
Next, coronavirus or COVID-19 vaccine. If
I'll be first in line.
You'll get it. So you'll be first in line to get it.
Yep. If your
wife agrees, I'm assuming.
Oh, I'm sure she would. Yeah. If you're Novak Djokovic, just stay out of the way. All these people saying, you can't make me do it. Whatever. Stay inside. I don't care. I'll be first in line. If it's tested and safe, by all of the FDA standards, absolutely.
All right, next we are now, it's early July. Mask or no mask when you're out in public in a store?
If I'm going to a store, I'm wearing a mask, Steve. Come on, everybody. This is not hard. It's at most a minor inconvenience. Stop being a jerk. Just put it on. For God's sake, stop being dumb.
And finally, the Segway scooter. Have you heard the news?
No. They're coming out with a scoot?
Well, that's what they're referred to as, the Segway scooter.
Right. Now, yeah. Oh, okay. So this is not a different product.
Production ceased.
Really?
Production has been shut, or it will be shut down in the next, I think, 2 weeks.
That thing was an innovator.
It was huge. It came out like late 90s, early 2000s, and they said that it was going to completely revolutionize human transportation.
I don't know how it would have ever done that. It maxed at like 2 miles per hour.
And it was so expensive. When it first came out, it was like $7,000, which is a ton of money.
Yeah, but the problem that Segway ran into is they never did anything new, right? They might have come out with a new model, but overall nothing was different. All the while, you can go buy a hoverboard thing, which is just your 2 feet on this board. Same exact thing as a Segway without the handlebars for like $200.
Yeah, when I get to where I'm going, I can just pick it up and carry it with me.
The Segway became too large, too bulky. They didn't change anything. Like it wasn't. Segway didn't move into the automobile industry and try to move their technology there. Yeah, they're out. I kind of forgotten about them. They're outdated.
Plus, they had. I was reading an article about them, like what went wrong with the Segway scooter, and they said that a lot of it was because different municipalities or different states or countries, they perceive them differently. Some of them, it's basically like if you were riding a skateboard. You don't need any kind of license or anything like that. But in certain places, you need a certain kind of endorsement. Oh. So like there wasn't a universal way that it was looked at.
Yeah, you're also seeing a lot of towns, tourist towns mostly, move to those. Like Lemon and whatever they're called with the rent a scooter, electric scooter.
Yep. Lime,
that's what it is. And you just zip up and down the street.
Those things are great.
They're great.
Have you rented them before?
No. We were going to in D.C., but obviously we had Reed, who at that point was like 7 months old.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you just drop it.
We've rented them a couple times, like in when we were in Lake Tahoe last summer. That was great.
You just drop them wherever you need to drop them.
Exactly.
And people
throw it in the middle of the street.
Yep. And then you get paid if you charge them.
Throw them off a bridge if you want.
Or a Segway for $7,000. So,
All right, before that, mask or no mask, you are team mask. I am team mask. I have a multitude of masks.
If you're not team mask, I understand your reasoning. It's dumb.
You're just being selfish.
Yes.
Which, again, is something that is afforded to you by the Constitution of the United States. Yes, you can be selfish.
Yeah. You just don't need to be.
Yeah, it would be nice if you didn't just think of yourself.
I'm not saying put one on when you go to your mailbox. I'm saying if you're in the grocery store with 80 other people who need their groceries, just put on a mask for God's sake.
Yeah, if I'm out for a walk, if I'm walking Evelyn around the neighborhood, I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But I'm also not having close communication with people.
It's not a difficult concept, but of course it's become political. Because why not?
Yeah. Before that, COVID-19 vaccine, you'll be the first in line, you said?
I'll be there, assuming it's not a prohibitive cost. which can happen with private drug companies. You know, I mean, they're the most of the talk around, you know, the penicillin and things like that it's a prohibitive cost for a lot of people. So, yeah, assuming this is somewhat funded to the point I can afford it and insurance will cover it.
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
I think I'm in too. I need it. Well, I mean, granted, I'm going to talk to my doctor first, talk to a medical professional, find out what they think. If they say, "Hey, hold off on this one, but get the, you know, maybe get 2.0." All right, I'll hold off on that one.
But if it's FDA tested, certified, approved, all of this stuff. And there's not all these stories going on like, well, FDA was kind of pressured and they probably shouldn't have.
As long as I don't have some kind of condition that I don't know about yet, where they say like, these don't really work together.
Hey, docs, if you're listening, make it like a pill or a spray.
Oh, that's right. Corporate cow doesn't like the needle.
I really prefer if you didn't have to go needle route on that one.
It's probably going to be needle in the eyeball.
But the problem is, if it's a needle, all of the nurses and docs are going to treat it like the flu vaccine, where your skin might as well just be like pavement for a jackhammer. And they just go,
Couldn't your wife give you a flu shot?
And you still have to buy the actual vaccine. She could, at that point, it's already covered and paid for by insurance. Just have one of those sadistic nurses stab your arm. Like a serial killer.
All right, before that we had Splash Mountain. They're Disneyland or Disney World? Is it at?
I think it's Disney World.
Or is it at multiple
It's Disney
ones?
World in Orlando for sure.
Okay.
So this kind of goes along with what was one of their early movies that they didn't even post on Disney Plus.
It was this one, Song of the
South.
Yeah, Song of the South.
I guess I can't say I'm surprised then, but like I said, I don't know. It's a kids' theme park. It's a song from a children's movie.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Do what you. This is the least thing that. If Disney needed an excuse to update their park finally, which they haven't in forever, I mean, you're talking about, you know, Tomorrowland with, you know, from the 60s.
Right.
Their park is old. People say that's part of its charm. They could probably use an update. If this is something that pushes them to update a part of their park, sure.
And first on the list was Major League Baseball and NBA.
Yeah, MLB lost a lot of faith in fans, players and owners. If you're blaming the players, you have a real problem, though. We'll get to that on Sports State. But
you going to drop one?
I can't this week because then we'll get the Fast Five.
Oh, boy, it just keeps
Unless I do it over the long week.
I think you should. Yeah, throw it out there as a 4th of July spectacular.
I'll do it, for next week. It'll be the 4th of July. And there'll be we won't have a Fast Five released next week. So, the MLB plan's in its infancy. Even as we're recording today, there's no real released health protocols. The players have agreed to it. But they haven't even chosen exactly where games are going to take place, how it's going to take place, hub cities.
Why don't they just put them into Disney? There's a baseball field at Wide World of Sports. Stick them down there with the baseball player or the basketball players.
Make it work. The NBA seems to have hashed these things out, and they worked together, owners and players, to a seemingly positive resolution. MLB couldn't have been more of a brawl in the mud to get even 60 games played.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely. It's shocking that we're going to see sports at all, though. It's crazy.
Yeah, the NFL making their plans to return, Steve, and I don't know if you heard that, they're going to rope off lower bowl. No lower bowl. They're selling it for ads. So fans, because they're going to be limited anyway, are going to sit in the upper bowl so they can sell TV ad space on the lower bowl seats like tarps over them.
Jesus.
NFL never misses an opportunity.
No, not at all.
Never.
All right, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's some polls up on Facebook and Twitter as we speak, based on the episode a couple of days ago.
And it has been a few days. Wanted to mention it. Podcastawards.com. Nomination sign up. It's open now. Please go there. Nominate the Steve and Kyle podcast. Entertainment category. The link is in this show description. Please do it today.
All right, talk to you next week. See you.